Hey, what's up guys? So in this video, we're going to be going over a bunch of different dash cams, specifically some of the dash cams that offer the best bangs for the buck, as well as some dash cams that offer some of the newest technology. And specifically, we're going to be going over the lineup of dash cams from Viofo. Now, I test a lot of different dash cams, and overall, I really like the dash cams that Viofo offers for a couple specific reasons. Now, while they lack some of the premium features like your cloud capabilities or your super long-term parking recording, they're going to have a lot of the key features that you're going to need, including really good video quality. They've got a nice compact design. They're not going to be big and bulky like some of the competition. Even the mounts are going to be compact and solid to ensure that it doesn't introduce a bunch of vibration into your video footage. Internally, they rely on capacitors instead of batteries, which is important to help the dash cam handle higher temperatures. Plus, they also offered buffered parking recording, which is pretty uncommon for dash cams in the more affordable price range. That's going to be a capability to record not only after an impact, such as a hit and run, but also before the impact. That way you can actually capture the entire event. Now, while their parking recording capability is not going to be as feature-rich as some of the premium options, they're definitely going to be better than what you'll find across most of the other dash cams that just advertise parking recording. As far as a couple downsides, though, to be aware of, number one has to do with some of the reliability issues that I've seen with some of their dash cams, as well as some GPS mount failures. I've had a couple GPS mounts fail myself. But that said, Viofo does seem to do a good job over time of improving their dash cams and improving the reliability, both on the hardware side and on the software side, which is good to see. Customer service, though, it's based overseas, so sometimes it is a little bit difficult to get in touch with people in case you do have an issue. But as far as the dash cams themselves, it does seem like they offer a really nice feature set, good video quality, and ultimately a good bang for the buck. In this video, we're going to go over an overview of their entire lineup of all the different dash cams that they offer. We're going to go over your single channel dash cams that just record up front, your 2-channel dash cams, or even your 3-channel dash cams that can record front, rear, and interior. We're going to go over some specialty dash cams, and then at the end, we're also, as a bonus, going to touch on some upcoming stuff that could be helpful to be aware of, plus some of the recommended accessories to pair with your dash cam, some of the ones that I like best. Now, full disclosure, this is not a sponsored video. Many of these dash cams that I bought, a lot of them, they sent me for testing and review, just like pretty much every dash cam manufacturer nowadays. And they're also not paying me to make this video or to do an overview of the dash cams. I just happen to really like them. And I'm free to say whatever I want, good or bad, and that's exactly what I want to go ahead and share with you guys in this video. And then after watching this video, if you find a dash cam that you'd like to buy, down in the video description underneath the like button, you're going to find links to all the different dash cams that I talk about here. They are affiliate links. It does support my channel if you use those, and it helps me to continue doing videos like this here for you. Now, you'll see down there in those links, there's going to be some options that give you a couple different places where you can buy. You've got Amazon, of course, which is going to be one of the best places to buy most all of these dash cams. You can also buy these dash cams direct from Viofo. Sometimes the prices are a little bit cheaper than Amazon, though the dash cams do ship from overseas, so it is going to take longer to receive them. And then another good option is buying them directly from Black Box My Car. They're based up in Canada, so they're able to ship nice and quickly. Plus, they can also help you with any sort of customer service or installation-related questions. If you purchase from them at checkout, you're automatically going to get 5% off for most of these dash cams, particularly some of the higher-end ones. And so down in the video description, those links are going to give you options for where you want to buy, depending on what's best for you. And then you also find links for some of the recommended accessories, like the cables and the memory cards that you'll need. But with that said, let's go ahead and start running through the entire lineup here of different Viofo brand dash cams. And so starting off, let's begin by talking about the single channel dash cams, just one dash cam that records the road ahead. And we'll start off by taking a look at the A119 V3. This is going to be your best entry-level dash cam. Now, one kind of surprising thing about it is that even though it was first released a couple years ago, Viofo continues to update it, and it continues to be the benchmark as far as the best dash cams under $100. It offers a nice compact wedge-shaped design. It records at 2K or 2.5K. I'm going to use the two terms interchangeably here, but basically records at twice the resolution of 1080p. And 2K here is kind of the sweet spot that we're finding right now for both video quality and low light performance. It's got an LCD on the back that's going to let you change settings or play back any previously recorded footage. So unlike most of the dash cams that you'll find, especially around this price range, it's going to offer buffered parking recording. So it's basically recording the whole time, and in case, let's say, there's an impact detected for a hit and run, it can save before the impact, it can save the impact itself, and record afterwards too. Not like most dash cams that kind of record after the impact because they've been kind of in like a sleep state, not actually recording before the impact itself. Now that said, it does lack some features like Bluetooth. There's no Wi-Fi built in, and there's also no optional secondary rear camera available. It's designed to be a simple yet effective dash cam. You just stick it on your windshield and it's able to record what's going on ahead of you, both when you're driving and optionally when you're parked. Now, if you want more features, Viofo has released a newer model called the A119 Mini. And it has the same image sensor as the A119 V3, but it adds some of the newer additional features that Viofo has since been adding to some of their newer dash cams. The case itself is going to be slightly smaller when you're looking at it, especially from behind, though it is a little bit thicker than the A119 V3. The power cable has been upgraded to USB Type-C. There's now voice notifications available, so the dashcam can actually talk to you and let you know some important information. It's compatible with the Viofo's optional Bluetooth button, which is really nice in case something important happens on the road and you want to mark that video footage. Instead of having to maybe reach behind your rearview mirror and press the button on the dashcam, you can just press the button right on the dash with this Bluetooth button and trigger your emergency recording event. I've got mine installed behind the steering wheel. It's much more convenient there, and I use it all the time. Plus, it also adds Wi-Fi, which is going to make it much easier to go in and change the different settings of the dash cam, to sync the date and time, or to grab any important video footage and copy it directly to your phone. And for the added few bucks over the A119 V3, I think it offers some very welcome modern improvements. Quick timeout. For this next part of the video, I was about to give you a preview of the upcoming Viofo WM1. However, after I shot the video, well, Viofo has now officially announced the new dash cam, and in fact, it's available now on their website for pre-order. Now, I just received a copy of the WM1 here for testing, and I still have to do all my testing and full review and whatnot. But let's go ahead and take a quick look as far as some of the key features and differences, as well as how it compares to the other single-channel options. Now, the key new difference here with this dashcam is its stealthier form factor. It's going to be a shorter dashcam top to bottom to keep it better hidden behind your rearview mirror. And one of the biggest changes that they've made to make it a little bit more compact is they've removed the LCD compared to the other A119 series dashcams. And because there's no LCD, you're going to want to use the Wi-Fi app to do things like get the dashcam aimed, change settings on the dashcam, or to download any footage directly to your phone. Now, something to note is the WM1 does not have dual-band Wi-Fi. It only has the slower 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi option. And so compared to the A119 Mini that also offers the faster 5 gigahertz option, it is going to take more time to copy any video footage from the WM1 to your phone. Now, internally, it uses the same image sensor as the A119 series dashcams, the Sony Starvis IMX335, and so it's going to be able to record at 2K, just like the other dashcams. However, because it does use a slower processor than what you've got in the A119 Mini, it's going to lack some of the more advanced features like HDR and instead rely on WDR. Now, the lens on the WM1 is also going to be a little bit slower too. The aperture of the lens is a little bit smaller at f1.8, so it does let in a little bit less light than the A119 series dashcams that have a larger aperture of f1.6. And so I would expect the low light performance of the WM1 to be not as good as the A119s, but of course we're going to have to test that to find out for sure, and stay tuned for the full testing review of the WM1. And then price-wise, it's going to slot right in between the two A119 series dashcams. The A119 V3 without Wi-Fi is going to be a few bucks cheaper, and then the A119 Mini with the faster Wi-Fi option is going to cost a few bucks more. But either way, it looks like we've now got another simple and affordable option here available from Viofo. And if you're looking for something kind of more stealthy and compact, I think the WM1 should be a good option. Next, let's move on and take a look at the dashcams that are available with up to 2 channels to record, say, front and rear. This is going to be the A129 series dashcams. And we've got 3 different models. We've got the A129, the A129 Plus, and the A129 Pro. The original A129 records at 1080p. The A129 Plus records at 2K or 1440p, and the A129 Pro records at 4K. Now, all of these dashcams share the same case design. They've all got an LCD on the back. They've also got Bluetooth capabilities for that wireless button, and they all offer Wi-Fi. Nowadays, I would say skip the original A129 and just go straight for the A129 Plus at minimum, because they're basically the same price, so you might as well get the one that records at 1440p instead of 1080p. Now, one thing to be aware of with the A129 Plus, specifically compared to the other A129 series dashcams, is that due to some internal changes, hardware changes, it doesn't offer buffered impact detection the way you can get with the other A129 series dashcams. Now, that said, with Viofo's implementation of the buffered impact detection, I found it can be kind of hit or miss. And so it's not always going to be capturing every impact the way that you need, the way that you'll be able to get from some of the higher end premium dash cams. Now that said, the workaround for this, because Viofo's implementation can be kind of hit or miss, is that instead of relying on the auto event detection parking mode to get that buffered impact detection, instead you can just switch it over to the low bitrate option. And in this mode, it's going to record everything continuously, both audio and video, and ensure that you're able to capture anything that happens while you're gone. And so the A129 Plus, set to the low bitrate mode for parking mode, is probably going to be, I think, the best bang for the buck to give you front and rear recording, driving and parked, in your car. Now, there's also two different variants of the A129 Plus. First, there's the A129 Plus IR, and this basically replaces that rear camera with an interior camera that has some infrared LEDs to help light up the inside of the car. And this can be helpful for rideshare drivers, Uber and Lyft drivers, for example, to record maybe passengers inside their car. There's also going to be the now discontinued A129 Plus eMMC, and eMMC stands for Embedded Multimedia Card. The idea is, instead of just relying on a memory card that plugs into your dashcam, the micro SD card, it also has 16 gigs of memory built directly into the dashcam itself as a backup in case maybe something happens to the memory card, or let's say you forget to put one in, it still has a little bit of memory built in. Now that said, this dashcam has actually since been discontinued and it's no longer available, but in case you see it online, that's the story with the eMMC model. And then the last option in the A129 lineup is the A129 Pro. This is going to be your 4K dashcam if you want the highest resolution possible for capturing details like license plates. And this is going to be a solid option for a 4K dashcam. Now that said, the sensor that it uses, the Sony Exmor sensor, is a little bit dated nowadays, and so it's not going to be giving you some of the best low light capabilities, especially compared to some of the Sony Starvis dashcams. Nevertheless, it's going to be a solid option for a 4K dashcam that records when you're driving, when you're parked, has GPS, Wi-Fi, capacitor built in, nice compact design, etc. And like the other A129 series dashcams, it's available as either a front-only version or as a 2-channel version with a second rear 1080p dashcam. Next, let's take a look at the A229 dashcam. This is kind of the next generation of the A129 series. It has an updated case design. It is a little bit bigger. It records in 2K up front like the A129 Plus, but the redesigned rear dashcam can now also record at 2K instead of 1080p. It uses a newer USB Type-C power cable. The cable that connects the front and rear dash cam, it's now going to be a smaller and thinner coax cable instead of a bigger, thicker USB cable, which is going to be much easier to actually run through your car. And it's going to be adding voice notifications to let you know about errors and issues with your dash cam.
Recording. 2 channels started.
The cable that plugs into the rear dash cam sticks out of the side instead of the top, and depending on your car, it may actually be a better way to run the cable without bending the cable and the connector itself. That's an issue that I've run into with the previous design. The rear dash cam can actually rotate, so you've got more adjustability on the angle for that rear dash cam. And overall, I like this dash cam. It's a nice improvement compared to the A129 Plus. But nevertheless, I do think the A129 Plus is a better deal at the lower price point. But if you want the newer features, yeah, go for the A229. And speaking of comparisons, one that a lot of people bring up because the two dash cams are pretty similar in price point, you've got the A229 versus the A129 Pro. The A129 Pro is going to be your 4K dash cam, so even higher resolution, 1080p in the back. But the A229 dash cam is going to be the newer dash cam, records in 2K, both front and rear. Now, personally, I don't think that having 2K for the rear dash cam is a huge deal, but it is an improvement nonetheless. As far as the front cameras, yes, the 4K one is going to give you higher resolution, but the 2K, again, I think is a really nice balance between video quality and low light performance, which is going to be better with the 229. Plus, the newer A229 adds things like USB Type-C for power. The cables will connect the front and rear dash cams. It's thinner here with the newer model, plus you get the voice notifications. And so for most people, I think the A229 is probably going to be the better balance in terms of video quality and new features. Now, before you run out and go buy the A229, you should also consider the A139 Pro that just came out recently. This is going to be one of the 3-channel dash cams that's available. You can also get it as a 2-channel configuration. But let's go ahead and start talking about some of the 3-channel dash cams in case you'd like to record front, rear, and interior of the car. And starting off, let's begin with the most affordable option, the T130. This is a tube-shaped dash cam, and the front and interior dash cams are actually built into one single body. And this makes for a very convenient install when you just have one box essentially that you stick on your windshield. It can record both on the front and inside the car. It's very popular with rideshare drivers, for example. As a bonus, that interior-facing dash cam can actually be aimed out to the side to record out the side window if you want to record police interactions, for example. It does only turn one direction, and you can install it either way to actually record either the left or the right, but it does have the ability to rotate that interior-facing dash cam. You also have the ability to get it as a 3-channel dash cam to add that rear-facing dash cam, and with the T130, it's going to be recording 2K up front, and then 1080p for the interior and optional rear-facing dash cam. Now, if you'd like a little bit more control over placement of the different cameras in your car, there's also the A139 that's available. It has the same resolution options as the T130, but the front and interior dash cam are actually 2 separate dash cams. I actually like this option because it gives me more ability to actually optimize the placement of both dash cams, with the front dash cam maybe hidden behind my rearview mirror, and then the interior facing dash cam mounted up high and set up to give me the best view of what's going on inside the car. It does make the install a little bit more involved because you now have 2 different cameras there plus a cable that connects them, but I actually like having the ability to really optimize the placement of both dash cams. Now, there are a few other nuances that would be helpful to know about. For example, the 2-channel dash cams are actually set up differently. With the T130 2-channel, it's going to be a front and interior facing dash cam, whereas with the A139 2-channel, that's going to be a front and rear facing dash cam. Additionally, you'll find some differences how like both of the 2 interior facing dash cams rely on different imaging sensors, and so the quality is a little bit different. If you want to get into some of the more nuances between the 2 different dash cams, I've got a separate video that compares the T130 and the A139. Now, none of these 3-channel dash cams from Viofo offer an LCD on the back of the dash cam. They're going to be reliant on Wi-Fi to change settings or view any of the saved footage. Now, in my wife's car, I've got her set up with the A139 2-channel to record front and rear. Now, that said, I'm actually going to be upgrading her car with the new A129 Pro. Now, the A139 Pro actually looks very similar to the original A139. It's got the same case for the front camera, and the interior and rear dash cams are actually identical to the original A139. The big difference, though, is actually the new imaging sensor used for the front dash cam. It's going to be stepping you up from 1440p to 4K, plus it is the first dash cam that utilizes the brand new Sony Starvis 2 sensor. Now, I've done a whole video that goes over this sensor in more detail, but essentially, we're going to be getting a dash cam with some improved dynamic range capabilities, but really the biggest difference that we're going to see in practice right now is the improved low light sensitivity. Now, the A139 Pro, it's available in many different variants. You can get it as a single-channel front-only option. You can get it as a 2-channel option, either recording front and rear, or you can get the 2-channel version that records the front and interior, or you can get the full 3-channel version. Now, something to be aware of if you opt for the full 3-channel version, there are a couple trade-offs to be aware of. Number one, for example, that front dash cam can no longer record at the full 4K and 30 FPS. There's going to be a couple other approaches here. It's either going to drop you down for all of the dash cams to 24 FPS, but still full 4K for the front dash cam. If you want to maintain 30 FPS, then that front camera is no longer going to be the full 2160p of vertical resolution. It's going to drop you down a little bit to 1600p. So you do lose a little bit in the top and bottom of the video. Plus, as you start adding on more cameras to the A139 Pro, from single channel to 2-channel to 3-channel, it does start to drop the maximum bitrate available on that front dash cam. So you are going to start to lose a little bit of video quality as you go from single channel to dual channel to triple channel. Now, this new Starvis 2 sensor that's available from Sony, any dashcam manufacturer can use it, and I'm fully expecting Viofo to start adding different Starvis 2 sensors across their lineup in the future, and I'm also expecting other dashcam manufacturers to start adding this sensor to their dashcams as well. It's not the only sensor, of course, that's available, but it's one of the better ones that's available on the market. Now, today, though, out of all the dashcams that are available in the market, I think the A139 Pro might very well be one of, if not the best dashcam that you can currently buy. Not perfect, of course. There are other dashcams that offer other features, but I think the A139 Pro is a really solid option. Now, as far as some specialty dashcams, Viofo also offers the MT1. This is a motorcycle-specific dashcam. Now, I don't ride motorcycles, so it's not something that I would personally test or review, but for those of you guys who do ride motorcycles and are looking for a motorcycle-specific dashcam, this has 2 waterproof 1080p cameras that can mount on the front and rear of the bike, and then everything is going to plug into a water-resistant box. It's got Wi-Fi built in so that you can view footage or change settings in the dashcam, and it offers a wired remote that you can mount on your handlebars to trigger the emergency recording in case something happens on the road and you want to quickly save and mark that event. Now, as far as some recommended accessories that I find to be really helpful with the Viofo dashcams, you've got a polarizer which you can attach to the front of the lens, which is going to help the dashcam actually cut through some of the glare on the windshield and better see outside at the cost of some reduced low light performance, just because it's kind of like putting on polarized sunglasses. It makes it tougher to see at night, but it definitely does help in the daytime to cut through some glare. You've got that optional Bluetooth button, as I mentioned earlier, which is really handy to make it easier to mark important events that happened on the road. And you've got the hardwire cables. If you want a cleaner install without a cable hanging down your dash and plugging into your cigarette lighter, you can hardwire it instead and run it to your car battery for power while the dash cam is parked so that it can record while you're parked. Now, instead of tapping into your car battery, I think a better solution is actually to use a dedicated dash cam battery pack. And for the Viofo dash cams, I find the best option to be the Black Box My Car Power Cell 8. The battery is going to charge while you drive, and then when you park, it's going to power your dash cam so it's able to continue recording while you're gone. Now, when you go to purchase the dash cam, it's going to be available actually with a couple different power cable options, so that depending on which model Viofo dash cam you buy, you can just choose the proper cable set up out of the box, so you don't have to worry about splicing anything directly to the battery pack. It actually comes pre-spliced for you to make it plug and play directly from your battery pack right into the dash cam. And so, yeah, that was a lot of different Viofo models. If we were to simplify things, as far as some of my favorite Viofo options, if you're looking for a simple budget dash cam, the A119 V3 is going to be the way to go. If you want a few other bells and whistles like Wi-Fi, for example, or voice notifications, you can step up to the A119 Mini. As far as your budget 2-channel options that can record both front and rear, I like the A129 Plus. And then if you want to start stepping up into some of the higher end dash cams, well, this is going to be kind of different variants of the A139 Pro. So if you want a front only dash cam, well, that's going to be the A139 single channel. And then if you want a high end dash cam for front and rear recording, well, that would be the A139 Pro 2-channel with front and rear dash cam options. And then finally, if you're looking for a full 3-channel setup for front, rear, and interior, well, A139 Pro 3-channel. And speaking of 3 channels, if you're a rideshare driver and you're just looking for something simple and easy to install and affordable, well, that would actually be the Viofo T130 2-channel for your front and interior recording. And then out of all of these options, if I had to pick just one for myself, personally, I would go for the A139 Pro 2-channel, the front and rear version, and then pair that with the Power Cell 8 battery pack to get the parking recording capabilities. And then finally, for all of the dash cams and accessories and cables and battery packs and all that kind of stuff that I mentioned here, I'll link to everything for you guys down in the video description. And so with that said, yeah, that's a run through of the entire lineup of Viofo brand dash cams. If you've made it to the end of this video, thanks so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you found it helpful. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.